Thank you so much, Irene, for the introduction. I'm really excited to be here to share a few insights into the work that we're doing in the Cardamom Mountains here in Cambodia, in conjunction with the Shintamani Foundation and guided by the Four Cs of the Long Run. So to start, I want to share a little story. Just to get us going, when I first explored the community forest that surrounded the Shintamani Wild property with Panna, our lead naturalist, who you will soon come to learn is the star of the show, nothing really seemed very wrong to me. It was a forest, there were lots of trees, it was pretty much to be expected. But as Panna went on to explain, unfortunately, none of the existing trees are the existing forest anymore. The dominant tree species, rosewood, has been completely eradicated. I would say it was that moment that really shaped the way that we approach the projects that I'm going to talk about. It became clear that we had to do more than just protect a forest. We were going to have to work at rebuilding one with the local community. And if there's one thing we've learned from working with the local community is that if there's no reason for them to want to protect it, it's going to be a big challenge. So we chose to invest in community-led projects instead of enforcement, creating practical projects with funding to get them started, guidance and training from our team, but with the long-term goals of them being able to manage this themselves. So a quick introduction to Panna, the star of our show. He's not just our lead naturalist, he's a published scientist. He's got degrees in agronomy, biodiversity conservation. He is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to biology, and he has that fantastic smile. This map here is demonstrating where the community forest is surrounding the Shintamani Wild property, so the green area there. And then you can see that the village itself at the bottom is directly next to our staff dormitory area. In fact, there is a gate that connects the two. A lot of our team live in the village, and a lot of our team on the day off go over there to enjoy the facilities because it's also a tourist village. So for a small fee, outside guests can come and enjoy the river, much like our guests do. In addition to that, they also have the management rights to this 332-hectare community forest. They face a lot of challenges, unfortunately. Deforestation, no waste management, excessive plastic waste, there's trash burning in the village. They've got no access to safe drinking water, and they've got limited economic opportunities in this area. So these were the starting points for several of these projects. This is the Tamok community, and another introduction quickly to Prin, our local resident professional model, best friend to my dogs, nicely demonstrating the issue they had with trash. That's the gate to the community and the shops and the tourist pagodas that the local residents can enjoy. So the first step seemed obvious, rebuild an existing tree nursery that they used to grow rosewood saplings in. It had been tried before, there was an existing space, but because of lack of management, it never took off. Of course, however, before we were able to do this, we had to help them understand why this would be a good project, and they had to trust us because they have been let down by other organizations in the past. So this started off with a lot of conversations, a lot of education. Of course, Panna stepped in, facilitated a lot of meetings with the local communities and explained to them why this would be a good project and how they could generate income over a period of time. Once everyone had agreed on this, we helped them purchase basic equipment like piping for the sprinkler system and for the netting for the structure. And then they installed it very quickly within 2 days. We also helped them select a local caretaker, which was going to be very important. Candidates were put forward by various team members, and then Panna helped to interview them. And eventually we selected a lady called Nem Som. She already has 3 years experience as a caretaker. She lives in the village, and she showed a lot of passion, which was very important to us for supporting this project. And now for the first time, we have someone responsible for growing the next generation of the forest. She will receive a salary from the Shintamani Foundation for the first year while the project takes time to establish. But here you can see we are hoping that the long-term results are going to be obviously employment. After about 6 months, she should be able to sell some of those saplings to tourists, and then they can start replanting the saplings in the forest. After 5 years, the seeds can be harvested and sold about $120 for a kilogram. And after 20 years with very careful management, they will be able to harvest the mature trees and sell those. And of course, forest restoration will be happening at the same time. Few images here of them rebuilding the nursery. Prin, our local model again, next to myself, the local caretaker and the community chief Sieng. And this larger image is Pana teaching the caretaker how to create charcoal using rice husks so that they don't have to purchase that. Clean water was another issue that we had identified, or lack of access to clean water, rather. So this top image shows the current situation. They use a generator and a pipe, and they're pulling out water from the river. This is going to wash their dishes, clean clothes, and though I hope not, and very likely they're drinking it also. So in addition to problems with health, it's also creating a large amount of plastic waste because they're selling all these bottles to locals and to tourists. So we're going to be partnering with an NGO called Clear Cambodia. They build biosand water filters, so we'll do the same, like the picture in the bottom there, with our hand wash station. We will help them select a caretaker who will be responsible for looking after the station, along with support from our engineering team. And we'll implement, or rather they will implement, a small fee for the water to generate some funds for the caretaker and the management. The biosand water filter itself is very clever. It can filter up to 200 litres per hour. It removes most of the bacteria, and the materials and labour are all locally sourced. And the results, we hope, will be very simple. Affordable fresh water and the health benefits that go with that. Fewer plastic bottles, employment, of course, and then income for the maintenance. Waste management was perhaps the hardest project we implemented, simply because it wasn't seen as a problem. Addressing the elephant in the room, there is no waste collection in rural Cambodia. There's trash on the floor, and the burning of trash in situ is just considered part of daily life. And so what we had to do was start talking to them about why this was a problem. Because when we first discussed a waste collection site, there was a lot of pushback. No one wanted to financially contribute to that. So Pana, there you see him again, working his magic in another community member meeting and shop owner meeting, discussing the health benefits of not burning trash near them and the environmental impact of waste. Eventually, once again, he worked his magic and they agreed to pay a very small fee every month for waste collection. 14 trash bins were donated, a disposal site was designated, and a trash collector was selected by the community association. So this is now being done every week regularly. And the results are very easy to see. There's lots of clean spaces, there's no trash on the floor, there's no smoke inhalation anymore from burning of the trash. And while this isn't a perfect system at all, we've got a long way to go. It is opening doors to future improvements and conversations around helping them to sort their waste for composting and potential recycling in Phnom Penh. Few more images, very glamorous project, mostly just trash bins there. But you can see a very nice, beautiful, clear area with no trash at all, and a very happy community member there with her bin. Now, moving on, while those projects were focused primarily on community well-being, this project, Orchid Conservation, is conducted in-house and is focused on protecting one of the forest's most delicate forms of biodiversity, which ties in nicely with the forest management and biodiversity conservation projects we're doing with the community. These images just here to demonstrate the difference between what we think when you say orchid and what a wild orchid typically looks like. They're not all that small, but a lot of them are. They flower maybe once or twice a year, and usually for only very short periods of time. In around the 19th century, we had about 500 species of orchids recorded on the books here in Cambodia, and now, unfortunately, down to around 200. They are very sensitive to habitat loss caused by timber harvesting, land grabbing for agriculture, and they are worth a lot of money on the black market, so poaching is an issue too. So once again, led by the enthusiasm and the vision of Pana, we created an orchid garden at the Wild Farm. It's a safe haven where orchids collected from fallen trees can be replanted and cared for by the naturalist and wild farm team before replanting in the forest during rainy season. With 39 species to date, some of them are endangered, and we have created a guest experience around this project. So our guests can join Panna or one of our naturalist team on a walk along a trail where we've already replanted some of these orchids. And then they can go back to the garden and they can help attach an orchid themselves with a little name tag for them for when we put back into the forest. And as if it already knew that I was giving this presentation, this beautiful lady's slipper flowered on Monday, so I wanted to share that image with you as well. Few more images. This is the orchid garden in the middle. Those are our team members collecting and replanting some of the orchids in the forest. And these are just a few images of the beautiful orchids that we have available here. So our next steps for the tree nursery and the forest regeneration. We would love for the tree nursery to become an educational experience for our guests so that they can see how a community-led project works in real life. Visit the nursery, meet the caretaker, help them plant saplings in the forest, so a direct engagement in a reforestation project. We also want to help them reinstate community-led forest patrols, which used to happen but have stopped, unfortunately, recently. So we'd like for them to be able to reinstate those to protect their forest. For waste management, we want to help them give the facilities an education on sorting so they can use their organic waste for composting and hopefully work with a facility in Phnom Penh to recycle their plastic. For orchids, obviously continue to collect and replant them. Focus on endangered species. And we'd love to be able to actually educate the community members working in the community forest to either alert us or even better collect the fallen orchids and bring them to us so that we can transplant them into the forest. And a quick closing. You can see the impacts that we're hoping that these projects will have and continue to have. A lot of these projects are very much in the early stages. The Clearwater one hasn't started yet. We are seeing a shift in perspective, however, which is the most positive sign. A lot of positive changes are being made. There's a lot of trust now between community and Shintamani Wild. We're having conversations that we haven't had in the past, and new economic opportunities are becoming available. And there is excitement. So you can see the community members are excited, as are we, to see how these progress. But most importantly, there are now reasons for the community to protect the forest and work on projects that can help manage it better. Thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to share this with you all. Really appreciate it. If anyone has any thoughts or ideas or anything they want to share with me, please do so by the chat. I'd love to hear from you all.